Yo, how's it going? I'm your host, Jurassic Guy 81, also known as Jurassic Guy, and today we'll be looking at the Jurassic Park Amber Collection Dilophosaurus, or World, by Mattel. Anyways, as you can see, its Amber Collection has a nice little photo of the Dilophosaurus. This is Dilophosaurus Jurassic Park. This photo is probably by when Dennis Nedry gets marked. It's also used for ages 8 and up. It also says Dilophosaurus Jurassic Park, and it states, while the Dilophosaurus may not appear threatening at first, this predator is grossly underestimated by Dennis Nedry. By closely tracking and trailing Nedry, the Dilophosaurus makes a mark in more ways than one. Pretty scary. And forget about my English, I'm sorry about that, but now let's take a look at the figure. As you can tell earlier, I already had the figure out of the box. Here it is. Oh, it's doing dingly and diagonal things. I do have a couple problems with the figure, but, let's go real quick with the things I do like. The painting and the sculpting on this figure is amazing. It has a true homage to the original toy. Now, as you can see, I do have a little mistake on my figure. Its jaw hinge is a bit off and out. It probably can work it out with a hairdryer, but as you can see the other side, it looks slimmer and it looks better. But that's probably one of the few complaints I have with it. Now, the mouth can close, and like I said before, there's a nice little nasty gap as the other side it doesn't. So there's a little discomforting that gets to me, but I won't let it get to me, but I might later. Like mentioned before, again, the painting and the sculpting in this figure is very nice. The mouth opens. Also, when you open the mouth, the top jaw likes to move a bit with it. I like the frill, how it looks. It's printed on and painted very nicely, very clear. The fingers on the toy, I don't know if you can see them too well, they're made of the same gray as like any other claw in the Jurassic World toy line, including the Amber collection. Looks very nice. Now, going down to it, I think this figure is about maybe 6 inches long. It's still pretty small when we get to size comparisons. So let's begin with the tail. As you can see, the figure has a bendy wire tail, which gives it a lot of organic poses and makes everything look nice and slim. A lot of figures have this. I believe SH Monster Arts with their toy line, which I've never owned one, but if I was to own one, I feel like that's how it would feel. Also, the bendy wire stops around the midpoint of the tail, maybe. It's supposed to be full, who knows. The legs can do a full 360, all minus a certain pivot there, but it can bend all the way down. Once again, mention of that pivot can go a little bit around. You can move the legs back that far. It's stopped by the muscle joint there, or the muscle sculpt, which is a bit sad, but it's okay. Same thing on the other leg. It can stand very well on its own. So, the arms. I had a bit trouble in mine once I got it out of the packaging. It was a bit hard to move it. I felt like I could snap it easily. Some of the plastic was tearing off, but now it's a bit looser since I was messing with it before this video. So it would hopefully be loose enough, and which it did. So I'm very happy about that. Same thing applies to the other arm. The left arm was when I had trouble. The right arm, though, was perfectly fine. As you can see, there's a lot of soles to go by, and a lot of hinge joints to go with it too. Now, let's talk about the face. The face has a lot to be desired. Don't get me wrong, the face sculpt is beautiful, but I wish there was just a bit more red on the face. As you can see, there's literally no red. I don't think you can even see with the camera, but maybe if there's a bit more in the crest and the nostril area, it would be awesome. But speaking of the face, I also want to talk about the accessories when you have to introduce the non-frill part. So let's get right into the accessories and see what I'm talking about. Alrighty, this figure comes with 5 accessories, one being the non-frill, its spitty thingy, a stand, and a stand adapter. Now, when I say 5, what could it be 5 for? Well, it comes with a grand total of 5 because of this. This is probably the coolest accessory to come with the figure. Yes, it is the East Dock sign, in which proves Dennis Nedry's demise. Now, biggest thing is, it freaking spins. It spins and spins and spins. So you can have as many recreational moments as you want with it, and it's such a good display piece too. I will have to say though, the plastic base on it feels cheap but understandable. Also, if you try to take it out, it's going to be really hard. Do not do it by force, but pinch by those 2 little white pegs up there. But just don't do it; it's not worth it. I will have to say, please be careful when taking it out. As you can see, the print on it is super clean, East Dock, very clean and aesthetic. You can also see that there might be a scuff around, thanks to yours truly. So when you're taking it out, please be very careful, because use a plier because you might just scuff the plain plastic. Now I want to talk about the first figure accessory, which is the spit saliva ball poison thing. It's green. It looks cool. Clear plastic. One little problem. It should at least be a bit black or a bit more of a darker green to recreate your companion with Dennis Nedry. I just personally think it would look better. It does look cool, but it's just a scaled up version of an older figure. Here's a photo right here. As you can see, it's darker, and this is probably the closest thing we have to the Dilo before this. I just wish it was that color, but it does look amazing, and if you were to put some light piping in the correct, like, darkness to shade, it would look really, really cool. And, you know, it's alright. So, let's show you how to put this in your figure's mouth. So, you want to grab your figure, and you want to open the mouth, obviously. Now, when you open the mouth, there should be a little hole. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. 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 You can see it now. Now, you want to put it in there, in that tiny hole. It fits in snugly, but let me just... Okay, it's in. It's in. Now, it's a really, really cool piece. I wish it was a bit longer, maybe just a little bit. And once again, with the color thing. But overall, it's a nice display piece. I would recommend displaying your figure like this. But there's a better way to display your figure. And it's also the one thing I hate about this figure. So let's get into it. We got the no frill thing. Now, I like it. Don't get me wrong. It looks cool. But I hate the way you have to put it on. You have to remove the head and then remove the frill. I am not kidding you that I was literally there for maybe 15 minutes trying to figure out a way, since I thought it would be like the Amber Collection Blue and and Charlie. But no, it wasn't. I wish they went like that, you know, kept the little flat skin there, then had like the little red thing there, but it's covered by the frill. But I can see why they did. It looks cleaner, but it's a bit more complicated. So what you want to do, you want to pop out the head. I've already done this wrong, darn it. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to attach this into the head, cover the ball joint, and then move the neck into it. And you should hear a pop. But it is quite hard to put it back in. Maybe if you use a hairdryer. Let me see. Okay, I think it's in. No, it's not. Okay, so I'll be right back as I try to put this in. Like I was mentioning before, they missed something. They could have done something like the electronic canner could have done, where in order to remove the frill, there was just a little slit where you can just pop it on top. But I see what they did it, make it look nicer. But I'm just afraid of that ball joint just popping off and breaking, because as soon as that breaks, your figure's over. You could probably super glue it, but that's it. You got to keep it in one position. I don't think nobody wants to do that. Anyways, you put it in the head again, and okay, it's in. I'm positive it's in. Yep. So, knowing that it's in now, let's talk about it. I like how it looks. It's very, very, very majestic and dangerous looking. And some people may not like that. I do. It just gives it more character, more realistic terms in my eyes. As you can see, it's a lot more movable, the head. It does like to slip a lot, unlike the frill. Now, it does like to do what I like to call the chicken head. Now, the chicken head is when you extend it and go back and forth like that. Now, after doing the head bobbing for a little bit, there's a swivel at the head because we have a ball joint on both sides. So we can do a full 360 with it. A full 360 with the neck, which I do not recommend doing whatsoever. You could chip your figure, and I don't think nobody likes a chip figure. Now, let's see the underbelly. Let me just get it. All right. Anyways, the feet and hands have the same possibility. They all could do 360s. Nothing's affected. And the bending wire is still the same as it was with the frill. Now, let's move on to the stomach. Where to begin? We got the stand to go with it. And you're about to see my problem with it. You can connect it. It gives a lot more variety of poses. Good running pose. It's very nice. If you were to put some light piping in the bottom, it would look super cool, especially with the raptors. But that belly seam is not working with me. That is no.
But that's okay.
I feel like they could have done a lot better. But
hole is something I don't
you gotta do
like
what you gotta do. Try to keep it as clean as possible. You can see a bit better there. But on the feet, you can see that there's the Jurassic World logo or park, whichever you prefer, and a bit of splashes of gray on the feet. I don't know if you can really see them too well, but I like it. It's cool. And you have the Made in China thing and the GPG, which I'm 93, which I imagine is just like the manufacturing of the figure. So like the 93rd. Now, obviously, you have to put in the stand. So we're going to try to connect to the... Oh, crap. All right. So here we are again. It's connected to the stand. It looks really, 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 really nice. I like the stand a lot. You can display with your stand. I personally would not. It doesn't have trouble standing on itself. But if you want to create some like running poses, I really recommend that. And maybe having a bit of clips at the bottom, being a bit bigger to store all your accessories you get with it. Obviously the frill and the spitty thing. And that goes to any other one. But enough saying. Let's get into size comparisons. So starting off our size comparison, we have our 1993 Dilophosaurus figure. This one spits out water when you put it in a cup. They are about the same size. The only difference is the 1993 has a shorter tail. This one is our 1993 Electronics Dilophosaurus. It came with a frill. I don't have it though. I got this at a yard sale. And surprisingly enough, this one is smaller than the newer one. And now we have a baby Dilophosaurus, Jurassic Park 3 Dilophosaurus, and Indoraptor, Toast, Indominus, and Rex. Overall, this figure, pretty cool. I like it. This figure is probably one of the best Dilophosaurus figures out there you can get. The pulsability is amazing. They're endless. It's well sculpted. I recommend this for any Jurassic Park fan. Overall, it's pretty good. No, I don't want to play with this figure at all. Oh, did I also mention it was pretty solid? Oh, that wasn't good representation. Solid. There you go. Sorry, that was enough. Solid. See you next review.